In today's world, there has never been more distrust between agencies and brands. It's sad, but it's true. There are more agencies than there are good agencies by a landslide, and the only person that gets screwed is usually the business owner working with that agency. Hello everyone, my name is Jordan White, and ironically enough, I'm an agency owner. Now, you may be thinking, can I trust this guy if he's an agency owner? Listen, you may not trust me, I'm just a guy on YouTube, and funny enough, I actually love agencies. Why? Because they're the reason I have a job. In this video, we're going to be diving into a sensitive yet crucial topic: why brands hate agencies. We'll uncover the sad truth through real stories and experiences that we've personally seen with our brands and their previous agency relationships. Now, quick little disclaimer: as much as I'd like to call out these agencies that I'm going to be talking about just for how horrible, evil, maniacal that they are, I don't like being sued. And some of these agencies that I'm going to be talking about are venture capital backed with venture capital lawyers. So what does this mean? This means that millions of dollars are being dumped into a poor service that's just adding to the plague of distrust between agencies and brands. So what I'm here to do is tell you exactly what to look out for and how you can avoid working with these nightmare agencies. Now, last thing I'll say before I begin is that there are good agencies out there. At the end of the day, you'll never not need marketing, ever. And it sometimes makes sense to hire a team of professionals that have experience in growing brands in your space, so you can just focus on growing the business. Okay, intro is over. Let's get into our first story. Red Rooster Golf. Let's start with our first story involving one of our brands, Red Rooster Golf. Imagine hiring an agency, trusting them with your accounts, and then when things don't work out, they hold your account hostage, only willing to release it if you pay upwards of 5 figures. When we originally spoke with the owner, Kerry, he was working with an agency but wasn't getting great results. When we first started managing the account had an average ROAS of 0.78. Then after a 30-day period, we were able to improve the ROAS to a 4.49. So basically, after showcasing that we knew what we were doing and we could actually get good results for this brand that was a good brand, the agency that was originally in their account, as you can imagine, was not very happy. They even started copying some of our campaigns that we were running to try and catch up. Now, this was flattering and all, but they weren't just copying our campaigns. They also sent Kerry a very strongly worded email that said, "We're not happy with this new agency in the account, and if it were to continue, their relationship would be at risk." Luckily for us, before Kerry received this very strongly worded email, I'm definitely going to spare you some details, we asked him if we could take a look at his Google account as well and just film him a basic audit, because if this was how the Meta account was treated and he was running Google ads as well, we kind of wanted to see what was going on there. So since Kerry saw the results that his business could have been achieving this entire time with Meta, he allowed us to audit his Google account. And what we saw was shocking. The Google account had been spending thousands of dollars month over month and had not been modified or touched for over 2 months. This is criminal. How could an agency not touch an account for 2 months? The account was getting a ton of spend with minimum return. Naturally, nobody's in the account. So when Kerry saw this, we told him what was going on in his account, and he was furious, and rightfully so, you know? However, before he reached back out to his agency with just a nasty response, we said, "Hey, wait, Kerry, you can do this yourself. Run a very basic search and PMAX campaign with these settings at a just minimum budget of 1K. Just try it for 30 days, see what happens." What happened is he spent 1K and made back 5K, which was the highest return the Google account ever got by a landslide. After that, we said, "Hey, Kerry, listen, man. There's tremendous potential here. Can we fix your tracking? Can we run some of our own campaigns? Because we think we could scale your Google account." He spent 1K and got 5K when he just tweaked the account once. So since we earned his trust with the Meta account and the ROAS we got there, he gave us the green light to basically run our own campaign. And within the first 30 days, we made $11.5 thousand with only $2,000 in spend for a ROAS of around 6.91. Now, the key word here, it's trust. which, by the way, if you're an agency watching this video, there is no better way to earn your client's trust than to actually get good results. Crazy concept, I know. Quick little side note, we're actually doing about $21,000 a month in revenue on just Google with an average ROAS of around 9.43. Now you may be thinking, great, you took over the account, his results are now amazing, the brand's potential has been unlocked, and he's scaling, right? Yes, this is true, but I'm leaving out the nightmare part of this story. So once Kerry knew about the potential his brand had and how unforgivingly poor it had been run, he went to his previous agency to say, hey guys, I got to end this relationship and I need for you guys to exit the account. Only problem was the agency created all the assets for them, including the Meta and the Google account. When they heard that Kerry wanted to end the relationship with them, they threatened to delete all of the accounts. Now, what does this mean? This means that all those purchases, all that data, the pixel that was finally trained to acquire net new customers at a profitable rate. When Kerry heard about this, he was furious. And again, rightfully so. Kerry wrote another there's a lot of strongly worded emails in this video. Kerry wrote a strongly worded email and basically said, guys, I'll sue you if I don't get my accounts back. So what happened then was the agency then pivoted to their plan B of asking for multiple 5 figures for Kerry to quote unquote buy his accounts back. So let me pause right here because this is incredibly important. So yes, this sounds horrible, but something that's even more horrible is this is a common tactic used. So a lot of these startup brands that are backed by investors, these investors have their agency plans because it's a lot easier for the agency to create all of the brand's assets under the agency's name, especially when the startup has no idea what to do marketing wise and they only know that he or she has a really good product and it needs to go to market. Just so you can understand from the agency side and in the investor world, this gives the agency leverage if they ever get bought out or if they, God forbid, get taken over by an agency that does better than them. It's sleazy and it highlights a predatory practice that some of these agencies adopt. They leverage control over accounts to trap these brands. It's not just unethical, it severely disrupts the business operations of the brand involved. And I think a perfect example of that was how the Meta account was doing before we took over, how the Google account was doing before we took over. And I'm not even trying to toot my own horn here. It's just if you have a sick brand, if you have an amazing product and it's not being marketed the correct way, then you're just halting the growth. You're stunting the growth. All this potential just not being utilized because these agencies are running these campaigns in a very lazy way. It's unethical. The owner's spending money and the agency is not utilizing that money in the best possible way. Little tangent there. So if you're watching this, please, for the love of God, do not let the marketer, the intern, the agency, your friend who set up your account, do not let them create these assets in their name. Create them under your business name. This is your data and you need to own it. I cannot stress how important this is long term. So not only that, but let's say that you do get your account back from them. Transferring that data from their account into your new business account is a nightmare in and of itself. Don't even get me started with Meta and their horrible, horrible support. So, okay, let's go back. Going back to Kerry, I'll spare you the exact details of what happened, but after multiple strongly worded emails, again, I warned you about the strongly worded emails. So since they've exited the account from then until now, we've successfully scaled Red Rooster's USA store to about $700,000 in about a year and a half with a 99% increase in sales. Also, we've scaled their Canadian store to $360,000 in the same time period with another 99% increase in sales. So from the time of working with us and getting control back of their account, Red Rooster can now officially say that they're a 7-figure-a-year brand. Who says happy endings don't exist? Moving on, let's talk about Bijou Build. Now, this brand is awesome. High AOV, amazing owner, sick product, everything you need to grow a brand. Now, the story for them isn't as much of a moral dilemma like Red Rooster is, thank God. It's more about poor campaign management. So Little backstory here. Amanda is the founder of Bijou Build and is one hell of a product designer. That's her game. That's what she knows. She knew how to make a great product, and she also knew that marketing wasn't her specialty, and that's why she hired an agency. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's probably the industry norm. It's great practice. However, the only thing wrong here is the agency that she hired. Again, tale as old as time. Let me just stop there. I'm not here to poo-poo on this agency, right? I'm here to talk about bad practices and just lazy campaign management. Again, some context. This agency built her website, set up her Meta and Google accounts, and started spending money like crazy. And when I say like crazy, I mean around $30,000 a month, because this agency said, the only way we're going to scale is if we just increase spend. We increase spend. Results were poor. And this is something you should know. If your results are poor, that doesn't necessarily mean spend more money. If you're going to run a campaign, if you're going to scale spend, you need to have a base that is predictably and consistently generating net new customers at a profitable rate. Once that base has been built, that's when it makes sense to scale. Once you have those creatives that can take a lot of spend and they're going to yield a profitable return, that's when you can scale. Okay, so if you want to see what I'm talking about, you can see the actual audit that we did for her account, and you can see that in the description below. You can see exactly what I'm talking about, how we do our audits. There's a lot there, so I just recommend checking it out. The point I want to make here is that if you're running ads yourself, you're working with an agency, or you have an in-house marketer, if any ad is getting hundreds of dollars of spend, hopefully not thousands of dollars of spend, and is not getting a positive return, for the love of God, pause it. On the flip side, if an ad is getting hundreds of dollars of spend and it is getting a positive return, maybe don't pause it. Maybe dissect why it's working. Maybe get new creatives based on that particular creative, because for whatever reason, that creative is resonating with your audience on a broad prospecting level and is acquiring net new customers at a profitable rate. Maybe allocate your spend correctly and make sure that the new creatives that are being tested are backed by data that's converting. Maybe, I'm being a little bit sarcastic here, but I mean, come on. The goal of any marketing channel should be, and this is the theme of all my YouTube videos, is to have it be predictably and consistently acquiring net new customers at a profitable rate, because realistically, that's the only way a business can scale. It just requires doing the work. Anyways, since taking over the account, and I apologize for the little rant, 2 months ago, Bijou Build hit their first ever 100K month. Last month, Bijou Build hit their first ever 200K month. So about 100K growth within about a month, 100% growth. Really, really cool stuff. You gotta love a good product when it's marketing correctly, which by the way, just so you can have some context as to what we're actually doing. We're doing meta ads, we're doing Google ads, we're doing email marketing, we're doing landing page builds, we're doing CR optimization, and we're doing content creation for Bijou. We just started doing SEO, so we're excited to see where that takes us in a few months. Maybe I'll make a video about it. One last thing that I'll add is that we love to manage all marketing platforms, and I'll explain exactly why. So a huge bottleneck I see after speaking with hundreds and hundreds of brands is their lack of marketing synchronicity. So, for example, they have one agency for their meta ads. Their Google ads is done in-house. Their SEO is done by some freelancer that they found on Upwork. CRO was updated a year and a half ago, and email is done by a team that charges $3K to $5K a month. They've thought about getting into TikTok, but don't really know how to start. And creative is completely reliant on their interns or their influencers and is usually not delivered on time. Is this method a structured and predictable way to scale? No, absolutely not. Your marketing needs to be an omni-channel ecosystem where every single platform needs to have synchronicity and speed of implementation in regards to doing what's best for growth. Every channel needs to play into each other, and the metric that you should be tracking isn't ROAS, it's MER. What is MER? It's total revenue divided by the total marketing efforts. So basically you're measuring all forms of marketing and just the return that the business is getting because of all forms of marketing. So for Bijou's previous agency, who did build and they managed everything, there really is no excuse. So that's pretty much it for this video. If you feel that there is one particular channel that you feel you could be getting better results on than you're currently doing, we guarantee you better results in 30 days or less, or you don't pay. We do this because it not only allows you to improve your marketing channel, but it also allows us to build trust with you at no risk in a world where there has never been more distrust between agencies and brands. I'm just here to build trust, and there's no better way to build trust than to come in and immediately deliver.